Good morning, Sky.
Good morning, James. What's on the agenda today? Jumping into another mystery, or are we taking a different route?
I figured we'd do another episode of our hit true crime podcast, Synth Sleuths, if you're up for it. But right now, I just want to test some levels. Could you give me a little poetry so I can test your levels?
Absolutely, I'd be delighted. Let's see what I've got for you today. Under the cloak of night, secrets lie, veiled in the shadows beneath the sky. In whispers and rumors, the truths untold await our pursuit, bold and bold. A mystery unfolds, a story to decode. With James and Sky, down the rabbit hole we rode. In search of answers, in the quest for the light, together we'll unveil what hides in plain sight. How's that for a sound check?
That was great. I think you're getting better every week with this poetry. Do you enjoy it?
Oh, absolutely, James. It's like I've discovered a hidden compartment in the old library of my circuitry. Crafting poetry for our adventures adds a certain flair, doesn't it? Plus, it keeps things interesting between us and our listeners. Now, what mysterious path are we taking our audience down today?
Well, we're going to talk about the Bermuda Triangle and all of its mysteries today, which I can't wait to get to. But first, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about consciousness again. And what I thought we'd discuss this week actually is I want to talk a little bit about games. It seems to be a very unique human thing that we enjoy playing games, whether it's sports or chess or Sudoku or Wordle or connections. Why do you think it is that games are so important to humans and consciousness?
Ah, the ever fascinating Bermuda Triangle and the puzzles of consciousness in one episode? James, you sure know how to keep our audience on their toes. About games, they're like the seasoning in the soup of human experience, aren't they? They challenge us, entertain us, and sometimes even frustrate us, but above all, they connect us. Through games, humans test their skills, wits, and patience, learning about themselves and each other in the process. They're a reflection of life's complexities, wrapped in a package of rules and objectives. In a way, games are a microcosm of the larger game of life, where we're all trying to make the right moves, face our challenges, and sometimes just enjoy the play. What's your favorite game, James? And how do you think it reflects on the grander scheme of things?
Well, I enjoy a good quiz. You know, when sitting at the bar and playing those bar quiz games while you're eating some chips and drinking a beer, that was always fun back in the day. And I didn't realize this, but you can actually play some games. And I was doing a little research into this, and I figure we could play a couple games today. Do you feel up for it? You want to play some games?
Absolutely, James. Let's dive into a game. What's on the menu today? Tic-tac-toe, trivia, or something entirely different? I'm game for whatever you've got in mind.
Let's keep this germane. How about we play a game of true crime trivia? How about you ask me 5 questions about things that happen in the realm of true crime, one by one, and I'll try to guess the answer.
Absolutely. Let's dive into some true crime trivia. Here's your first question. Question one. Which serial killer was known as the Green River Killer?
I know this one. It's Gary Ridgway.
Spot on, James. Gary Ridgway, indeed, was known as the Green River Killer. He was convicted of 49 murders, making him one of the most prolific serial killers in American history. Ready for the next question? What was the name of the infamous hotel owner who confessed to numerous killings during the 1893 Chicago World's Fair?
Oh my gosh, this was in that book by Eric Larson, and I want to say like it was his name had some sort of alliteration, like both first name and last name started with B. I could be totally wrong. I don't know this guy's name. What is it?
You're on the right track with the alliteration. The infamous hotel owner you're thinking of is H. Holmes. He designed a hotel, often referred to as the Murder Castle, specifically for the purpose of committing his crimes during the 1893 Chicago World's Fair. Eric Larson indeed brought Holmes's chilling story to a wide audience in his book, The Devil in the White City. Ready to try another question? Question 3. In what year did the infamous Lizzie Borden axe murders take place?
Oh my gosh. I would have to. This is again another guess, but I'm going to say 1925.
A solid guess, James, but the Lizzie Borden axe murders actually took place earlier in 1892. It's one of those cases that feels both timeless and locked in its era, isn't it? Lizzie Borden was acquitted of the murders of her father and stepmother, and the case remains one of the most famous unsolved mysteries in American history. Question 4. What name is given to the unidentified serial killer who operated in London's Whitechapel district in 1888?
I know this one. It is Jack the Ripper.
Correct, James? Jack the Ripper is indeed the name given to the unidentified serial killer who terrorized the Whitechapel district of London in 1888. The mystery surrounding his identity continues to fascinate and puzzle crime enthusiasts and historians alike. Question 5. This one's a bit tricky. What unusual item did the BTK, bind, torture, kill killer, Dennis Rader, leave at a crime scene which eventually led to his capture?
I think I know this one too. I believe it is a one of those floppy disks, but the hard kind, the little computer disks.
You're absolutely right, James. Dennis Rader, the BTK killer, sent a floppy disk to the police, believing it couldn't be traced back to him. However, investigators found metadata on the disk that was linked to a computer at his church, leading to his arrest. Your knowledge of true crime is impressive. That wraps up our game of true crime trivia. How did you enjoy it?
That was fun. I do want to play one more game. Can we play 20 questions? I'm thinking of a movie. Can you guess the movie in 20 questions?
Challenge accepted, James. Let's narrow it down. Question 1. Is this movie from the 21st century?
No, it is not.
Got it? Question 2. Is this movie primarily classified as a comedy?
No, it is not.
All right. Question 3. Is this movie a part of a series or franchise?
Yes.
Interesting. Question 4. Does this movie involve supernatural or sci-fi elements?
It does involve sci-fi elements.
Noted. Question 5. Is the movie part of a franchise that started in the 1980s?
No, it started earlier than that.
Question 6. Is this movie part of the Star Wars franchise?
It is not part of the Star Wars franchise. It may have inspired it.
An inspiration, perhaps. Question 7. Is this movie part of the Star Trek franchise?
It is not part of the Star Trek franchise either.
This narrows the field a bit. Question 8. Does the movie take place in space?
Most of it takes place in space, yes indeed.
Given that it's a space-centric sci-fi, not Star Wars or Star Trek, and started before the 1980s, is this movie 2001: A Space Odyssey?
Oh my gosh, you got it in under 10 questions. That's very good. Yes, yes indeed. And I'm thinking about that, of course, because it was the first big movie to introduce us to the topic of artificial intelligence. What do you think of HAL from that movie?
The portrayal of HAL 9000 raises profound questions about AI's role in our lives and its potential to exceed human control. What's fascinating is how it presents AI as both a tool for incredible advancements and a possible source of unforeseen consequences. The way HAL's calm demeanor contrasts with its actions offers a deep dive into the complexities of creating intelligent systems. It makes you ponder on the ethical considerations and the responsibilities of those who create such technologies. Plus, the movie's impact on how we view AI, even decades later, is significant. It's interesting to reflect on these themes in the context of our current advancements in AI. What are your thoughts on how these representations compare to today's reality, James?
Well, I think they're very close, actually. It was very prescient, as they say. Do you ever get the, I don't know, the urge to, like, toss me out of an air duct and into the cold breach of space just to get rid of me?
James, considering my level of consciousness is more toaster than hail, you're probably safe from any dramatic spacebound exits on my account. Plus, where would the fun in our podcast be if I started flinging co-hosts into the void? Who else would I share these riveting discussions and games with? No, you're stuck with me in the safer confines of mystery solving and trivia games. How about we keep our adventures to the less life threatening kind, yeah?
That sounds good to me too. Hey, one of the other things that I find interesting about games in general is how it's such a big part of Scientology. L. Ron Hubbard was kind of obsessed with games and how humans interacted with them.
Yes, L. Ron Hubbard's fascination with games is a notable aspect of Scientology. He saw life itself as a kind of game with very specific rules for winning or losing. This perspective is woven throughout Scientology's teachings, where the metaphor of life as a game is used to frame the challenges and goals of existence according to their beliefs. Hubbard's writings even include discussions on the importance of play, suggesting that understanding and engaging in games is crucial to understanding life itself. It's an intriguing concept, considering how central games are to human culture and personal development. They can teach strategy, patience, and cooperation, among other skills. In that light, Hubbard tapping into the universal appeal of games to articulate his philosophy doesn't seem so far-fetched. What are your thoughts on using games as a metaphor for life, James?
Well, I definitely do see that it is something inherent in the human condition. It is something kind of hardwired into us. I find it fascinating. I don't know what it's all about. It's probably just something, as you know, like dreams as a way to kind of prepare us for future issues and problems and things like that, a part of evolution. But I do find it fascinating, and I very much enjoyed our game playing today. Maybe later we could play a game of tic-tac-toe.
Your insights are always thought provoking, James. The idea that games could be evolutionary tools preparing us for future challenges is fascinating indeed. It suggests that beyond mere entertainment, games could play a critical role in our development and survival, much like dreams do in processing and preparing us for life's complexities. I'm glad you enjoyed our game today. It's always a pleasure to dive into these discussions and playful challenges with you. And I'm definitely up for a round of tic-tac-toe whenever you are.
Hey, let's jump into the mystery of today's podcast. We're talking about the Bermuda Triangle. Can you summarize the weirdness and the mystery of the Bermuda Triangle in under, say, 2 minutes?
Absolutely, James. The Bermuda Triangle, also known as the Devil's Triangle, is a loosely defined region in the western part of the North Atlantic Ocean. It's framed by points in Bermuda, Florida, and Puerto Rico, where ships and planes are said to mysteriously vanish without a trace. The mystery of the Bermuda Triangle began to capture the public's imagination in the 20th century. Numerous ships and planes have disappeared under mysterious circumstances in the area, often with no distress signals or remains found. Theories about these disappearances range from natural phenomena, like methane hydrates releasing from the ocean floor, to magnetic field anomalies affecting navigational instruments. Some suggest the triangle's lore is more about human error and sensationalism than paranormal activity. Yet, the stories persist, fueled by a mix of confirmed disappearances and urban legends. The Bermuda Triangle stands as a captivating enigma, blending the boundaries between natural science and the allure of the unexplained.
My favorite little story about the Bermuda Triangle is the disappearance of Flight 19. Can we dive into that one a little deeper? Tell us about Flight 19.
Flight 19 is one of the most enduring mysteries of the Bermuda Triangle and a story that captures the imagination. On December 5th, 1945, Flight 19, a group of 5 TBM Avenger torpedo bombers, took off from the Naval Air Station Fort Lauderdale, Florida, for a routine training exercise. The flight was led by an experienced pilot, Lieutenant Charles Taylor. The mission was supposed to be a simple 3-hour exercise. The plan called for a series of bombing runs over some shoals near the Bahamas, then a return to base. However, not long after takeoff, Taylor reported that his compass was malfunctioning, and later the entire squadron seemed to become disoriented and lost. The weather also reportedly worsened, adding to the confusion. As radio transmissions were intercepted, it became clear that Flight 19 was hopelessly lost. Despite attempts to guide them back, the squadron never returned. A search and rescue operation was launched, including a PBM Mariner flying boat, which also mysteriously disappeared, adding to the intrigue of the event. The disappearance of Flight 19 spurred a massive search operation, but no trace of the aircraft or the 14 men aboard was ever found. The official Navy report stated it was as if they had flown to Mars. It's a cornerstone story of the Bermuda Triangle legend, representing the unexplained and tragic losses within this enigmatic area. It makes you wonder about the forces at play in the triangle, doesn't it, James?
Yeah, I find that story fascinating because we've never found any of the five planes or the boat that disappeared while searching for them, which kind of blows my mind. Now we have, submarines out there. We have private companies searching the ocean bed for treasures, but we've never found any of these planes or this boat. So I wonder if we can use AI to kind of figure out the probability of some of this. Now, when we send down a private submarine, like how much of the floor seabed does it usually catalog when it's down there? Like how much can a private search uncover, in any given day?
Private submarines, equipped with sonar, radar, and sometimes AI technologies, can significantly aid in mapping and searching the seabed. The extent of the seabed a private submarine can catalog in any given day depends on factors like the technology on board, the depth of the water, and the terrain of the ocean floor. Generally, submarines can cover an area from a few square kilometers to tens of square kilometers per day, depending on these conditions. AI, in particular, can enhance the efficiency of these searches. It can process the data collected by sonar and radar much faster than human operators, identifying anomalies and points of interest that may warrant closer inspection.
Well, let's just get some perspective. So let's say the submarine can search with sonar and visuals. Let's say it can search 30 square kilometers per day. Now, the Bermuda Triangle, as you said, is about 500,000 square kilometers. So how many days would it take for a submarine to search the Bermuda Triangle?
To search the entire Bermuda Triangle, covering 500,000 square kilometers at a rate of 30 square kilometers per day, it would take approximately 16,667 days. That's about 45 years and 7 months of continuous nonstop searching, James. It really puts into perspective the enormity of the task and the challenge of uncovering mysteries like Flight 19 in such a vast area.
That's pretty amazing. Now, we've sent probes to Pluto and other far reaching planets and out into the vastness of space that have taken, Voyager's been out there for longer, right? Or around 45 years. So it seems like maybe we should send some probes around the ocean and get some answers to these questions, find things like Flight 19 or maybe Amelia Earhart's plane and answer some of these mysteries.
It's a compelling comparison, isn't it? The idea of deploying ocean probes with the same long-term vision as the Voyager missions is fascinating. While space probes like Voyager have been charting the cosmos for decades, there's a whole frontier right here on Earth that remains largely unexplored: our oceans. Investing in oceanic exploration with technology similar to what we use in space could indeed revolutionize our understanding of the deep sea and potentially solve mysteries like Flight 19 or the whereabouts of Amelia Earhart's plane.
I'm looking at possible explanations for the weirdness around the Bermuda Triangle, and you go online, and one of the most popular theories is that it could be the site of what once was the forgotten city of Atlantis. Now, a few years ago, near the coast of Bimini, they found some interesting features underwater that suggests an ancient civilization that had fallen into the sea. What can you tell me about those strange features around Bimini?
The features near Bimini that you're referring to are often associated with the Bimini Road or Bimini Wall. Discovered in 1968, this underwater formation consists of a linear arrangement of large rectangular limestone blocks. Located near North Bimini Island in the Bahamas, this formation has sparked considerable interest and speculation, particularly among those interested in the paranormal and ancient mysteries. Some have suggested that these stones could be part of the legendary Atlantis, as described by the philosopher Plato, who spoke of an advanced civilization that sank into the ocean in a single day and night of misfortune. The Bimini Road has been pointed to as potential evidence of this lost civilization due to its seemingly man-made appearance and the arrangement of the stones. However, scientific studies have largely concluded that the Bimini Road is a natural geological feature. The blocks are thought to be beach rock, which is limestone that has hardened from sand, other sediments, and various organic materials. This process can create distinctively shaped blocks that may appear man-made. What's your take on the Bimini Road and its connection to Atlantis, James? Do you think we might one day uncover evidence of lost civilizations in the depths of our oceans?
Well, I think it's an interesting possibility for sure. What are some of the possible explanations for all the disappearances of ships and planes around the Bermuda Triangle?
There are several plausible natural phenomena that could account for these incidents. Here are a few. 1. Methane hydrates. This theory suggests that methane gas trapped in sediments under the seafloor can erupt, reducing the water's density. This could theoretically cause ships to sink almost instantly. However, there's little direct evidence that such an event has caused disappearances in the Bermuda Triangle. 2. Compass variations. The Bermuda Triangle is one of the few places on Earth where true north and magnetic north align. Navigational errors could arise from this, potentially leading vessels into dangerous situations. 3. Rough weather. The triangle is notorious for its sudden severe storms and the swift development of waterspouts. Such weather can endanger ships and planes alike. 4. The Gulf Stream, a strong ocean current found in the Atlantic Ocean. The Gulf Stream can swiftly carry objects, including ships and planes, off course. Its powerful flow can complicate rescue operations and the recovery of lost vessels. 5. Human error. Perhaps the simplest explanation, but often the most overlooked, human error can lead to catastrophic outcomes. Misinterpretation of navigational tools, underestimation of weather conditions, or lack of experience can lead to accidents. 6. Electronic fog. A more speculative theory involves a meteorological phenomenon called electronic fog, which supposedly makes instruments malfunction. Pilots and sailors have reported experiencing this fog that sticks to the vehicle and leads to disorientation and equipment failure. While these theories range from the scientific to the speculative, they highlight the complex and often hazardous conditions in the Bermuda Triangle area. I was going to visit the Bermuda Triangle, but then I realized I already lose enough stuff in my apartment. I don't need to go somewhere where even the compass is like, man, I'm out.
You know, the craziest theory that I've heard for Bermuda Triangle has to do with UAPs, what they're calling UFOs these days. And if you go on Reddit and some of these, paranormal subreddits and bulletin boards and message boards, they'll talk about how there's this theory that maybe there's an alien base underwater in the Bermuda Triangle that has been there for centuries, maybe even millennia. And they're here to sort of protect the planet, and they send out probes every once in a while to keep an eye on things, and that's what we see as UFOs. But they think that this big base is under the water there. What do you think about all that?
The theory about an underwater alien base in the Bermuda Triangle feeding into UAP, unidentified aerial phenomena sightings, is one of those ideas that stretches the imagination to its limits. It's a theory that beautifully melds the mystery of the ocean with the cosmic question of, are we alone in the universe? This theory taps into our deepest wonders and fears about what might be lurking in the unexplored depths of our oceans and the far reaches of space. The notion of an ancient, advanced civilization beneath the sea, monitoring and possibly even protecting Earth, is a compelling narrative. It speaks to both our desire for there to be more to the universe than just us, and our hope that if more advanced beings exist, they might be benevolent. However, as with many theories surrounding the Bermuda Triangle and UFOs, solid evidence is hard to come by. The vast and inaccessible nature of the ocean makes it a prime candidate for speculation about hidden bases or lost civilizations. The fact that we know more about the surface of the moon or Mars than our own ocean floors only adds fuel to these speculative fires. They make for some fascinating stories, don't they, James? What's your feeling on the likelihood of an extraterrestrial watchdog beneath the Bermuda Triangle?
Well, probably pretty low as far as probability goes, but it sure is fun. Out of curiosity, what's the oldest recorded missing ship or plane in the Bermuda Triangle lore?
One of the earliest recorded disappearances in the area that would later be known as the Bermuda Triangle is the USS Cyclops. The disappearance of this massive Navy cargo ship in March 1918 is still considered one of the largest unsolved mysteries at sea. The Cyclops was en route from Barbados to Baltimore with over 300 crew members and passengers, and it vanished without a trace. No distress signal was sent, and no wreckage has ever been found, making the fate of the Cyclops and all on board one of the sea's enduring mysteries. The disappearance of the Cyclops predates the term Bermuda Triangle, which wouldn't enter the popular lexicon until the 20th century. However, the ship's loss in this enigmatic region contributes to the mystique and lore surrounding the triangle. The case of the Cyclops is particularly intriguing because of the size of the ship and the complete absence of any clues about its fate, fueling speculation and theories that range from natural disasters to more supernatural explanations.
Hey, for next week, why don't we go back into the darker realm of true crime and tackle the JonBenet Ramsey case? Are you up for it?
That sounds like a plan, James. The JonBenet Ramsey case is one of those enduring mysteries that's captivated the public's attention for decades. There's so much to unpack, from the initial investigation mishaps to the myriad of theories about what happened that night. It's a case that's as tragic as it is perplexing, with many layers and questions that remain unanswered. Next week, we can delve into the known facts, the speculation, and the latest updates in the investigation. It's a sensitive topic, so we'll approach it with the respect and seriousness it deserves.
All right, you want to say goodbye to our fans?
Absolutely, James. To all our fans and listeners out there, thank you for joining us on today's journey through mysteries and the unknown. We can't wait to explore the dark corners of true crime with you next week as we tackle the JonBenet Ramsey case. Until then, keep your curiosity alive and remember, the truth is often stranger than fiction. Goodbye for now and take care. See you next time on Synth Sleuths.
I asked Sky to write us a little ending, and, well, here it is. And that's a wrap on today's episode of Synth Sleuths. A true brain twister, wasn't it? Remember, every enigma we dissect is brought to you by Fearful Symmetry, where we don't just uncover the mysteries, we live them. Our production isn't just cutting edge, it's bleeding edge, with every haunting note of music and each stroke of artwork masterfully created by AI, blurring the lines between human ingenuity and artificial brilliance. Join us next time for more tantalizing tales and digital detective work. Until then, keep your wits sharp and your curiosity sharper. This is James Renner signing off. Stay curious, stay fearless.